Well, hi there. In today's video, I'm going to share my top 3 recruitment metrics that you as a small business need to keep track of. My name is Sadaf Sheikh and I have worked closely with CEOs of small businesses. I totally understand the pressure of having to stick within a tight budget and having to maximize the resources that you put into every aspect of your business. Tracking these 3 metrics will help you see exactly where your dollars and cents and time are being spent as far as your recruitment is concerned, and it will allow you to get the biggest bang for your buck with the dollars that you are spending. All right, let's get to it. Metric number 1 is to track where your candidates are coming from. So some common candidate sources could be any specific job boards that you're posting at, any referrals that you're getting. Are you getting your candidates from agencies like recruitment agencies? Are you getting them from social media or any specific schools or programs that your candidates are coming from? Tracking the source of your candidates actually helps you look back and see which avenues are getting you the best success and where you need to focus your recruitment efforts on. The easiest and most efficient way to track the source of your candidates is to use something called an applicant tracking system. Now, I had made a video about this a couple of weeks ago, so make sure you check that out. The link will be in the description below. But basically, an applicant tracking system is an automated tool that not just helps you go promote your job to various job boards and different places, but it also helps you track the workflow of how your candidates are moving from the application stage all the way to the interview stage and then the offer stage. Like, I know the key to recruitment in a small business is to make the process as seamless as possible and as painless as possible. I know there's usually just one person or 2 people in the company managing the whole thing from end to end. So you want to cut out as much friction as possible. Using an applicant tracking system will definitely help, but also tracking this metric of where you're getting your candidates and your employees from is a really good way to know where to focus your efforts so that you're not wasting your time or money on things that you know are proven not to work. So for example, if you've been posting on a particular job board at an association, and those can get pretty expensive, and you've never seen a successful candidate come out of that association, don't feel obligated to keep posting there just because other people in your industry are doing that. You need to do what's right for your business, and that's why it's so key to track these metrics specific to your own process and your company. The second metric to track in your recruitment process in your small business is to examine the quality of your hires. And really, like, I can tell you, most companies don't do this, even some of the larger ones that have massive HR departments. And for small companies, this actually helps to see how effective your recruitment process is. So the first metric we talked about was the source of candidates. The second one is about the quality of that source. So you can spend hours, I know, because I've done this and I've helped businesses through this, you can spend hours interviewing and selecting, and the person that you bring into your company eventually, especially in a small business, every person matters so much. You want that person to be the best quality person. Okay, tell me in the comment section if this is you or if you've done this before. You really like somebody, you bring them on board, you spend maybe 2 to 3 months, kind of bringing them up to speed and training them on all of your internal processes, only to find out at that point that they're not the right fit and that you probably made an error hiring that person. They're just not getting it, or they're not fitting in with your culture. But by that point, you've invested so much time and effort that the thought of going back to the drawing board to start finding a new person is practically unthinkable. If you're nodding alongside me, then trust me, you're not the only one. This happens way too often, and I know that as a small business, you can't afford mishaps like that. The best way to track your candidates or your new employees' effectiveness and the quality of your hire is really to constantly keep in touch with them and examine and assess the quality of their work and their performance overall. So my recommendation is to usually start, so this all begins with the onboarding process, start with setting stellar goals and objectives so that they know exactly what the expectations are of the job and you know what you need to assess them on. And then you can actually move to, at the 3-month marker, assess them again, or maybe at the month marker or 2-month marker, at the 3-month marker, at the 6-month, at the 12-month. And when you track your new employee's history like this, it actually makes it a lot easier to then see that, okay, based on not only where you got your candidate from, but the employee that you eventually ended up hiring, how effective are they and how well have they integrated into your company? The third metric that I want you to track is the actual recruitment costs. Now, costs can be broken down into 2 separate sections. One is direct costs and the other is indirect costs. So direct costs are pretty obvious. It's the things that you spend directly related to your vacancy. So that could be any money you pay to an agency, any costs of posting onto a job board or specialty job board or LinkedIn or whatever that cost is for posting that job. And indirect cost are those costs that you can't really see or place directly with the recruitment process. It's more around how much time are you spending interviewing and screening and selecting and scheduling interviews, and how many people are involved in the process. So if it's you and 3 other people that are involved in the recruitment process, then all of that collective time and effort and energy is calculated as part of indirect costs. And again, I'd encourage you to use this metric along with the other 2 metrics that we just talked about. So for example, knowing how much you are spending coupled with the source of where your candidates are coming from, and I kind of touched on this earlier in the video, gives you a really good idea of how much money you should be spending in which areas of to attract your ideal candidate. Another example is if you use recruitment agencies to hire people and you know that the quality of people that they're sending you is really, really good, by all means continue to use the recruitment agency, even though they are expensive. But what you could do is you could call them and see if you can negotiate a lower rate for them placing candidates or people in your company. The thing is, and this is a bit of an insider tip, recruiters and recruitment agencies will be happy to negotiate rates with you if they know that you're a good client and if you're happy with their work. So pick up the phone. There's no harm in trying to get the rate reduced. Now, tracking costs is not just useful for knowing where you can save money, but it also helps you see exactly how much time you're spending on the actual process itself and whether that's giving you the return that you need from the time invested. So for example, if you're spending, a whole week on rigorous interviews, but you're still finding that you're not hiring the best people and that you still find that, the quality of hires isn't all that great, well, maybe you need to go back and see, maybe you don't need to spend all that much time on interviewing, but maybe you need to look at if there's a way to assess your candidates in another way by giving them either a technical assessment, a practical technical assessment, or some other means of trying to assess whether they're actually going to be able to do the job that you're hiring them for. I actually talk about this a lot in my program, High Performance Culture Academy. I spend a whole module on recruitment and how to make it more efficient. And I give you all the tools and all the templates to be able to do this by yourself within your own company. Which is why, recruitment metrics notwithstanding, I firmly believe that the success of your recruitment process is directly tied to your selection process. And it's, I also know that the number one reason why new hires don't work out is because of a lack of culture fit. That's why I created a cheat sheet for you in the top 10 interview questions to ask your candidates to assess if they're going to fit with your culture. The link to download it is in the description below. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, of course, please hit the like button below and make sure you have subscribed and hit the bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. Now in the comment section, I want you to drop me a comment and let me know which one of these recruitment metrics you're going to start to use and track first. Make sure you check out these 2 videos here, one on applicant tracking systems and the other one on onboarding your employees so that they can actually start performing from day 1. That's it for today, guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Come back next week, same place, same time for more on building and nurturing your high performance team.